So I've got something new to show you guys this morning. This is the GoSun grill. This is a solar powered grill or cooker, and it uses zero fossil fuels, zero fuel at all. The only thing it uses to cook is the sun. And I've been wanting one of these for a long time. I considered there's a lot of DIY videos here on YouTube on how to make a solar cooker and all that. And in the past, I have tried a couple of different ways, and it didn't work out as well for me as I would have liked. So I've been wanting one of these from GoSun for some time now. Now this is in its stored position, and you can see the little dial there. If you can see it, it's all the way down on 1, which means it's a cold grill. And the way you do this when you set it up and start heating it up is you preheat it until the little dial is on 3, and then you put your food in. The dial will drop down to around 2, and by the time it gets back up to 3, the food is pretty much done. There'll be steam coming out of these little steam ports. There's one up here and one down bottom on the slide-in tray. Here you can see the 2 cooking pans that it comes with. You can put things on top of this, and then you have another one down in the bottom here that's on little legs, so you can put water under it for steam. Okay, and the grill comes with 2 of these, and once it's heated up, you prepare your food, put them in there and slide it in, and it goes to cooking. Now to open it up, real easy. It just spins around and opens right up. Then you have to open the reflectors just like that. Okay, so now the reflectors are open, and this is the pointer. This is how you aim it at the sun. See the little dial here? It has a red dot in the middle and a bullseye underneath. You can see the glint of the sun. You can see the sun in the dial. You can also see the shadow from the red dot. What you do is you try to get the glint from the sun and the shadow directly in the center of the bullseye. First thing in the morning, like it is right now, you can't tilt down far enough to get them there. So to warm the grill up in the morning, you put it down as far as it'll go, line it up left and right so everything is converging on the center of the bullseye, and then you just give this a twist to lock it in place, and you wait. Okay, as the sun rises, the sun glint and the shadow will come together in the center of the bullseye, and that's when you're getting the most power from the sun that you can get. You're collecting the most and you're heating up the most. This grill, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly from reading the instructions, is capable of cooking at 500 degrees and maybe a little more. Yesterday we tried for the first time and made some cornbread in one pan and hamburger helper in the other pan, and it came out great. So that was our first time cooking in it. Today we're going to try again. You can see it gets pretty dusty pretty quick out here in the desert, but we're going to try cooking in it again today. And I think today we're going to make some pork chops with some potatoes and some type of pasta or whatever Maria's putting together in there. But I know we're making pork chops and potatoes, and I'll take you through it and we'll see how it goes. Right now, very early in the morning, sun's just come up a little while ago, and we're just waiting for the grill to heat up. Like I said, when the needle gets up to 3, that's when I put the food in. So we'll see how this goes. Now, I don't know how good of an idea this is, but if you're setting up early in the morning trying to heat up this grill and the sun's not high enough to get the dot and the sun glint in the center of the bullseye, you can always put a board under the back of the grill so that it tilts down a little bit further, and then you can get that glint and the shadow from the red dot on the aimer dead center in the bullseye, and the grill will heat up for you a little quicker. Doesn't matter what the outside temperature is, doesn't matter if there's wind, doesn't matter about any of that. This thing is going to soak up the ultraviolet light and produce a lot of heat inside this vacuum tube. And this is a vacuum tube, just like you know, the old vacuum tubes you used to put in your radios and TVs. That's it. And it's a great big one. And it gets very, very hot inside that vacuum tube. So, all from the power of the sun. No fuel at all. No propane, no wood, no charcoal, no nothing. Just the sun. So these are the pork chops that I'm going to be cooking today. They've been in a, you know, one of those seal-a-meal bags in the freezer, and they're still frozen. While the grill is out here first thing in the morning, catching the first rays, warming up, I'm going to put these inside to defrost while the grill is warming up. And touching the pan, it's already starting to warm up inside the grill here. So I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to take the pork chops and just lay them in the pan here. Put the lid back on. Slide that in and let those pork chops defrost, thaw out, warm up in there and thaw out, and then I can take them out of there and marinate them and get them ready to cook. Neat little deal, guys. And one thing I can tell you about it is, you know, it's not like my charcoal grill. This thing is, you know, fragile comparatively. This vacuum tube, just like a vacuum tube that they used to put in the old radios and stuff, and this sucker is big, a great big vacuum tube. So, you know, it's already wanting to implode all the time. And if, you know, rough with it, whatever, it will break. And if it breaks, it'll shatter, you know, and because it's a vacuum tube, it'll shatter into a billion bits. But here's the good thing. There's a no questions asked warranty on that tube for 2 years. If it breaks for any reason or no reason at all, the company will send you a new tube for up to 2 years, and they'll only do it once. If you break it again, well, there's something wrong. Wrong there. How does the tube break? Well, being too rough with it, knocking it off the table, that kind of thing. Another way the tube can break is this, from thermal shock. The instructions are very, very clear about this. You only preheat this oven until the needle hits 3. That's when you put your food in, your cold food, and the needle will drop back down to 2, maybe a little bit lower, and then it'll start climbing again. If you put cold food inside this tube, when the needle is above 3, you'll thermal shock the tube, and that tube will shatter from that thermal shock. So you got to be careful about that. Yesterday when I was using it, it preheated up to about 3.5. And I can't tell you how well this thing holds heat. I mean, it holds heat like you would not believe. It took about 30, maybe 45 minutes for this thing to cool off back down to 3, so I could put our food inside it and get it to cooking. So you don't want to preheat above that number 3, because it takes a long time for this thing to lose heat, to dissipate heat. The wind was blowing out here, and it was kind of cool, a lot colder than that tube. So, you know, you'd think I could just open the tube up a little bit and let it, you know, cool off. But what I didn't want is for the cold air to rush inside that tube, thermal shock it, and shatter it. So what I did was, and it's got two little vent holes, a vent hole here and a vent hole underneath for steam, you know, to let steam out. So I just cracked it just a little bit like that, you know, and just let it dissipate its heat over time, and it took a while. There wasn't nothing real fast about it. So that's something to consider when you're warming this thing up. The reason it got up over 3 on me is because I was inside getting the food ready to go in, you know, preparing it and all. And it just took me a little longer than I expected, and the grill got a little too warm to get started. So that's a consideration. Let's check our cooker. So when you put your food in here, you wait until it gets up to the 3. You put your food in and it immediately drops back down, and then it'll start coming back up as it starts to cook. Then you'll start seeing steam come out of the top hole and the bottom hole, and usually when it gets back up to about 3, everything is done. Let's see what we got in here. Ooh, we got some rice cooking, some vegetables cooking back there, some meat underneath them, and we're going to see how all that comes out.
Let's see.
Okay, so we just got back from meeting a bunch of other YouTubers, including Less Junk More Journey. We got to meet Hensley, the star of the show.
Yeah.
And like in the video before we left, we had cooked our dinner in our solar oven.
Yep.
And what happens is, guys, once you're done cooking, you can bring it in out of the sun or set it in the shade or whatever you want to do with it, and close it up like this, and it'll keep everything warm. Okay, so the rice got done early.
Yeah.
So we took the rice out. Let's show them the rice. Okay, so the rice is out and done, the rice casserole, and now let's see what we pull out of the solar grill.
Well, hand me the cutter, because I don't know how hot it's going to be.
Okay,
Just sit there. Right
set it right there. Ooh,
Okay,
check it out.
hold this,
Okay.
because it.
Get on this side.
Yep.
Check it out. Ooh, that looks good.
Okay, let me. I don't know if it's hot or not. It feels warm.
Yeah, that's still plenty hot.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, let's see what you got underneath them veggies.
Got pork chops.
Ooh, pork chops. Okay. The GoSun grill cooks rice really, really fast. Our rice is just slightly overcooked. But there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
We have to learn how long to leave stuff in, how long it takes to cook stuff, okay? So there's a little bit of a learning curve. Potatoes. Potatoes are good. And now for the pork chop. Cut it with a fork. It's really, really tender. Good pork chop.
Good pork chop? Good.
Good.
Good. All right, here
Good
you go.
pork. So our first try, making dinner with the GoSun grill, and just the GoSun grill, I'm going to call us a success. Worked out just great. The pork chop is tender and really good. The potatoes are really good. The rice, like I said, slightly overcooked. Left it in there a little bit too long, but that's okay. Came out great.